When you need her, she'll know what to do and she'll be there for you. Where you will lead her, there's nothing Adele couldn't think of to do. She's all you ever needed in the wrong situation. You're caught in the middle, no way of escaping. Till out of the blue, she runs into you. There's nothing that she couldn't do. She's a travel counselor.
Hi Abdul, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, how did you feel after our session last week?
I felt a bit relieved that I can talk to someone.
Good.
Certain things that I haven't been able to tell anyone, which I told you, so I feel at least okay.
Well done. And thank you for your bravery. That's really, really good. So, one of the things that really, really stood out to me last week was how you took ownership on your own. And that's very empowering. It shows the strength that you have got, because to admit to something that you've done and to not place the blame on others, that takes some personal skills that you naturally have. So I've got a feeling you're going to respond very well to this therapy. So really, really proud of you. So well done.
Our next prisoner is Nauru Abdul Muz. Do you believe you have been rehabilitated?
No.
Well, if that's your decision, you can go back to your cell.
Mr. Muz, this may be your one opportunity to return to society.
I don't deserve it. I have disappointed my whole family. I've caused so much pain in so many families. I don't deserve to get out.
Now, in taking ownership of something, you obviously reflected already on how your actions affected other people. So I just want to break that down a bit, just to have a look at what you've acknowledged yourself, all right? So the first one is, how do you think that these experiences have affected your victims? So the victim of the crimes that you committed, how do you think it affected them personally?
Like the woman that we attacked on that night, I feel like it would be very hard for her to ever trust in any African person. That's one thing that I know for sure. Because when we walked in and she saw, 3 African people come in and just rush in and take everything from her and stuff, I feel like I don't think she could sleep that night, or it would probably take like a year or 2 years or even 5 years before she could sleep, because she had a little baby. And another thought in her mind is like, what if they took my baby away? What if they killed me? What if they killed my baby? Things like that. And that's one of the things that I was thinking when I was in jail. I'm like, I'm supposed to be here adding value to the country, but here I am terrorizing these people that gave me a chance to be here. And it was really, really bad on her side, and I can understand where she's coming from, and but I just wish that I could talk to her and just tell her that, I'm sorry, and I wasn't doing it in the name of all the Africans. It was just me that was messed up, and I was in that kind of phase. but it's not everyone that are like me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And so at the time that you did it, you obviously didn't, was it at the back of your mind at all, or you just went for it? You just ruthlessly did it without any thought?
See, the morning before we did that, we had a little bit of weed.
Y'all stop posting that shit, man. Pass it on.
I thought we were moving, man.
Pass that shit on.
We were just smoking in the house.
Okay.
And in the afternoon, when we went out there, we usually, before we do anything like that, we used to smoke weed in the morning and smoke weed during the day. So at night, we go for it.
Okay.
And most of the time when we are entering the houses or when we are stealing like cars and stuff, we wouldn't think of what the victim is going to feel like. The main thought in our brain is, what are we going to get out of it?
Yeah,
So
sure.
if it's money, cars, that's the only thing that we cared about. How
Yeah.
you're going to feel, it wasn't our problem.
So if you didn't smoke the weed, do you think you would have more of a conscience about it? Or so did you purposely have the weed in order to give you that courage to do it without any feeling?
Look, what I noticed after a few weeks being in jail is that weed sort of takes your conscience out. It sort of makes you feel like what I'm doing is okay. It doesn't allow you to feel bad about something. It actually hypes you up. It makes you feel like, you know what, it doesn't matter. I don't care, like just do it. So I feel like if I didn't smoke weed for like a week, I probably would have been a bit scared to do some of the things that we did. But if I smoke weed for 2 days, I can do anything for that week because it'll still be in my system and I'll still feel like I can do it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yep. And what about, how do you think that this has affected your mum, like your family and your friends and your community?
Speaking for my mom, like, you know, she gave birth to me and she's everything to me, but I let her down.
Can you explain to me why you haven't been in school for 30 days? Huh? Is anything to do with that little boy was robbed today? You know, you can study and become anything you want. Why you have to waste this good opportunity? Going out with your friends, bashing people, robbing kids is not going to help you.
Food is ready.
We'll put you in a bad record. Is that what you want? I'm talking to you.
I'm only ruining my own reputation.
No. You're not just ruining your life. You are ruining every African name.
She brought us here so we can get a better life, so we can study, you know. I remember she used to say every day, like, you know, everything that you do today, it doesn't only reflect on you, it reflects on the whole community. Everybody's going to look at the whole community in your image. So if you do good, you're doing good for the whole community.
The Travel Counsellor.
Another saying that I read when I was in prison, that if you do something good, somebody's going to tell 2 people about it or 3 people about it. But if you do something bad, someone is going to tell 20 people or 50 people about it. So the bad news spreads quicker. So because I did bad things, I know that it spread everywhere and it made my mom look bad and made my family look bad, and it also made my community look bad.
Yes, sure.
Do you know how it feels to have no one sitting next to you in class? I swear, you're ruining us.
Time like this is the best time to show the good example. Look at your brother. He's a doctor. Look at your cousin Peter. He got his own business. But someone like you with a bad behavior, you bring our community down.
Can we eat?
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you so much for blessing day. Dear Lord, thank you for my children. Thank you for those kids in Africa. Asante kwa wale watoto waliokuwa hawapati kula. Uwasaidie watu ambao wanaumwa. Tunashukuru kwa maisha haya.
I'm sure there's people that think that the whole African community is like Abdul. But what I've done is what everybody else does, which is not true.
So have you still got your community involved in your life now? Like, they haven't turned their back on you, have they?
Well, at the moment, I personally chose to stay away from everyone.
Okay.
Because I believe that until I'm good for people, I shouldn't be with everyone. I should work on myself first, get myself at a good place where I can say it's safe for anyone to be around me. Maybe they can learn something from me. Maybe, we can have a good conversation and stuff like that.
Sure.
Until then, that's why I'm doing these therapy sessions, so that I can be able to be good, to go out there and share something with others.
Yeah, but you don't feel that you're an unsafe person to be around now, do you?
I never imagined how my action would affect my race in the whole world. How some people will not get an employment, all because of my actions. I never imagined how other races, they'll be terrified of my community because of my actions, because of what I did, not them. I have brought my community down.
Now, the biggest question, how have you hurt yourself through all those crimes?
How did I hurt myself? So I didn't hurt myself physically, but I know that I damaged myself inside mentally, because when we started doing these things that we were doing, hurting people and stealing and stuff, at first, when we first started doing it, it was okay. We were a little bit scared about it, but we were okay doing it. And then over the time, doing it, it actually became the norms. It became the lifestyle.
Yeah, sure.
So it became so easy for us not to think about how the person is going to feel, or the police and all these things. It just became like so easy. We could just be walking, we see a kid in there with a backpack, that backpack is going.
Yeah.
Probably go to school and probably go lunch in there and money for lunch or whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah.
We take that and we won't even think twice. So I'd say it changed me to like a monster. It changed me to somebody that if my father was alive today, he wouldn't recognize me at all.
Right, okay. Yeah, what do you think he would have said to you?
I think he would have beat me up so bad.
Yeah?
He would have beat me so bad until I can't walk, because he's the person that, he used to be the person that he can't tolerate anybody messing up.
Right.
Because my dad grew up, he was studying, he was teaching, he went to university and stuff. And us growing up in the camp, he always wishes us to get to the level that he got to.
If he was still alive, do you think you would have gone down that path to start off with?
It depends, because back home I was scared of him, because he would hit me, he would do these things, and I would be really scared of him. So in order for me to mess up, it would be really hard for me to just mess up like that. But in Australia, I feel like if I had the same kind of friends that I have, it could have gone two ways. Either I would have ended up on the line, because he would have still hit me in at home and make sure I'm straight, or I could have, rise up on top and say, if you hit me, I'll call the police, and then maybe run away from the house and live with my friends and things like that. It could have been A or B, but either way, I don't know.
This is what I have heard, just in a little training thing that I did, is that I know overseas the discipline is very hard, that if somebody does, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I was taught, that if somebody did the wrong thing, that they would take the kids in the street and they would beat them up or smack them in front of everyone to show the community we're doing something as parents about this poor behaviour, so the kids were a bit more scared. Whereas now they've come to Australia where it's illegal to hit your children, to that point especially, and the kids like, oh, well, what are you going to do? If I do something wrong, you can't hit me. What are you going to do about it? And they're talking like that to their parents. And so when the parents migrated here, they haven't been taught any other way to discipline their children, because all they knew was about hitting and beating. But now that that's been taken away from them, they don't know how to discipline the children. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%, absolutely.
The Travel Counsellor.
Because even back home, that's how we were raised. If you do something wrong, your mom or your dad, they will hit you, but they wouldn't hit you like so bad that you'll be bleeding all over your body or whatsoever. They will hit you a little bit to show you that what you're doing is wrong. And most of the time, like I would say 90% of the time in back home, it works. It's a system that works for for us. And in Australia, not beating up kids and stuff is also a system that works for the Australians here. There's kids like myself. If my dad was to sit home with me and tell me, Abdul, don't do this, I'll probably be like, okay, dad. But I'll still do it. But because he was hitting me back then, he'll say, don't do this. I'll be like, I'm sorry. If I do it, he'll hit me, and then I will not do it. It was like
So they're the cultural differences that do make a big difference as well, isn't it? Like I can just imagine how hard it would be for parents migrating from one country to another to have to adjust to the language, to the culture, to the rules and the laws, and there's so much to deal with. It mustn't be a very easy road.
I think that's why I ended up where I ended up, because I feel like if I had my father around, or my mom, if my mom was allowed to hit me every time I do something wrong, I would have grew up with the fear of doing something wrong. And that fear would have led me into the right path until when I'm like 18, then I realized that, hey, my mom was beating me up when I did something wrong. It wasn't because she didn't love me. It wasn't child abuse. It's because she wanted the best for me. And now I've ended up in a good place because of that. So
understand.
In saying there's things that works for a certain culture, because that's what they are, that's the language they understand, and that's how they are used to it.
And that's the thing. It's the culture. So that's how the kids are raised. Here in Australia, the belief is that, and studies have shown that if you do beat your children up, it can cause major anxiety. It can make children lose all their confidence. They're too scared to make decisions. So they look at all the psychological effects that it has, and that's what our kids are used to, and that's what our culture is used to, is finding different ways to discipline.
Because in Australian way, it works 100%. And I can say if an African child is born in Australia, that system of not beating them up, it works 100%. But if someone grew up in a country where they were already getting beat up, and then you bring them to Australia and then you can't touch them, it's like when you look at them, the way they are already, the mentality that they have of being scared of doing something wrong, they don't have that anymore, because they know that there's nothing you can do to them. You can only talk. And talking in there is not that powerful as getting beat up. So that's why
I understand.
It plays both ways.
Okay, well, it's very interesting, isn't it? Different cultures, different countries, the way they operate. So all right, if you dig deep, how do you feel when you think about that wrong path you went on? How do you actually feel about it? So I know you kind of said that you've taken ownership, but when you think of yourself breaking into that woman's home, what is the instant feeling that you're feeling on your body?
At the moment, I feel like a monster. I feel like a dog that just came in to attack people out of nowhere.
Okay.
That's how I feel like I am now. Like when I was in jail, I got to some point where I feel numb. Like I don't own my brain, I don't own my body, I don't own anything, because actions that I did is not what my dad would be proud to see me doing.
Yeah.
And every time when I was sleeping, I would think about him, think about his words, think about his encouragements that he used to give us. And that's when I realized I have lost my father, and I'm almost losing myself as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering about, if you did feel that sense of loss on who you are. But through this therapy, hopefully I can help you find ways on how to find yourself again and the type of person that you want to be. Because you may not want to be the person you were in the earlier days, and now you might want to start fresh, and you think, okay, what type of person do I want to be? What do I want to do with the knowledge that I've gained by doing the wrong thing? So you would have gained so much knowledge, and that forms us a person that we can be tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think, so do you feel like guilt or shame, that type of emotion?
Well, the reason I haven't been able to go outside and talk to my community and meet my old friends and my other families is because what I've done is so bad that I'm ashamed to look at them in the eye. I mean, there's a family that I used to go to, and they used to see me as a son, as a brother, and they used to love me so much. But my action took their son away.
Right. Okay.
My action took their son away, so I don't think I will be able to face them anytime soon or ever, really, because I just feel like it's just a big shame that. I did that to the kid. I mean, I loved him and everything, and I wanted him to leave, but
I understand.
Yeah.
So do you feel any physical feelings? So do you get headaches? Do you feel sick? You said before you feel numb. How does it those feelings that you're telling me, the guilt and the shame, how does it affect you physically? Do you get sore muscles? Does your heart beat fast? How do you physically feel?
Sometimes, not always, but sometimes if I start thinking about it, especially the day that the whole thing happened, sometimes I can't sleep for like a week or 2 weeks.
Okay.
I go to sleep, and every day, every hour in that night, it's just the thought of my friend, the thought of his family, the way they look at me, and the way they blame me for everything, which they have the right to do so. I look at all those things, and I can't change any of it. That's what pains me the most, because if I could change it, I could go back and bring back their son and be like, I'm sorry, he's your son, but I can't. So I can't sleep. And if I can't sleep, the next day in the morning, I feel like really tired. I feel like, I can't do anything. And sometimes when I'm supposed to be looking for a job, I don't have the energy to look for a job because I didn't sleep the night before and sleep at night. So it's like some days it's like I'm breathing, but I'm not alive.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm understanding. So I think what I'm going to start doing with you next week is teach you self-compassion, how to forgive yourself, and how to get closure in order for you to let go of the past. So don't forget the past, because you would have learnt so much stuff that is going to be valuable for your future. Okay. So I'm going to help you be able to move on without the shame and the guilt. So you're not happy about it. That will always exist. Yep, you won't be happy. But I want you to not be happy about it, because if you were happy about it, you would keep doing the wrong thing. All right. So from next week, I'm going to help you learn how to change your negative thought processes, and how to the main thing is you need to get closure. You need to get closure on it in order for you to move on to a positive start. Does that sound good? Yeah. And then we'll see how you go with the sleeping thing. If we do all the therapy and you're still having sleeping problems, then we can reassess later to see what other things you might need to help you. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me again, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.